Which mutant power would you want most?
That's hard, but I think teleportation.
That is a good one. I'd want to be like Logan or Deadpool and just heal super fast. That would be what I would want. What would you want? Let's talk about it in the comments. We are going to dive into spoilers for Dark Phoenix. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin.
I'm Laura.
And this is our spoiler talk review for Dark Phoenix. Now, I gave the movie a B- because as a whole, I liked it and I found it entertaining.
I actually think I'd give it a B- also.
Because it is entertaining, right?
Yeah, and I know why a lot of people are probably going to give it C or worse grades. I get that. And it doesn't deserve an A.
No, it's definitely not A worthy.
No, but a B-, I feel like that's fair.
Yeah. Now, I gave it a B- because I thought the action was fun. It was very entertaining. But it definitely had some very weak character development moments and story points.
For me, it was the story.
Well,
I mean, because I enjoyed the action. I mostly enjoyed the acting. But there's a lot of holes.
Well, talk about it. What holes in the story kind of bugged you the most?
I'm going to start with something. I don't know why I thought the pale blonde girl was like Sophie Turner, Jean Grey's alter ego.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. The trailer just had me feel like that was the Dark Phoenix inside of her.
Well, I think a lot of people thought that, so I don't think you were alone in that.
Was finding out that she was an alien that came to Earth and took over some person's form. Well, she killed the person and then transformed.
The form, right.
And I just... Okay. That's... yeah. And then how... One of the things that irritated me about it is so... Humans are, like, realized that they were aliens with the mutants. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but their powers are very mutant-like. They can heal, which that's not unheard of.
Right.
They can transform. They all had the same power, though. So that is something a little different, because you don't normally see that in the mutants, where there's, like, 10 of them. And in this case, it started off with 10, and all of a sudden there's, like, 100.
On the train.
On the train scene.
Right.
And so I had some issues with how people just understood that they were aliens towards the end of the movie.
Yeah, because they did have powers very similar to mutants, and you would think it would take a longer time in the human mind to separate, oh, those must be aliens, because, you know, I mean...
Charles could figure it out, because Charles couldn't read their mind.
Well, he figured it out right away.
He looked at him, and he's like, what are you?
Yeah.
You know, and so, and Jean Grey figured that out pretty quick, too, because she couldn't read her mind.
You know, Jean looking at her in that bar and being like, what are you? Like, Jean, like, kind of like Charles. When Charles looked at her, like, Charles had that moment of, what are you? Which, that was a cool scene.
Yes,
but yeah.
And so, because of how that scene happened, Charles knew that she was an alien or some other creature that just wanted to destroy the whole world. And so, I mean, we've learned with the mutants that when somebody says something, they don't always normally believe.
Right.
And so Charles kind of said it while they're in captivity on the train scene, and everybody just believed him. Well, the humans didn't believe him at first until they were getting decimated.
Right.
And then they freed them to help fight, and it was like a nice scene because you saw I don't want to say bad mutants, but like the mutants that are normally... Like all the mutants were fighting together for a common cause, which I liked.
And that was kind of cool. You said in the car that you felt like it paralleled Days of Future Past where they teamed up.
Yeah, because it's like, there's this one scene, too, where Magneto in this one kind of, like, put all the metal behind him to seal the door to protect Charles and those in there that are going to be the ones who really save the day.
Yep.
And so I liked that. I'm just like, it's a parallel. I'm like, I don't know if that's intentional, but it's a parallel.
Yeah, I thought about that, too, because it was cool, because in Days of Future Past, he put all the metal on the door to keep the machines out from getting in and to hold off, and then he gets pulled back behind that door.
Yeah.
And then, in this one, he's fighting the alien, so he does all the metal up while they're trying to save Jean and just kind of...
And then turns... I kind of like this scene. Turned all the guns in this artillery, probably like, 200 guns, and just fired them all at this girl that is what I thought the alter ego of Jean Grey, but is the alien that took some of the Dark Phoenix power but wanted to get the rest from her. whatever. It's
which I don't understand why he turned the guns on her, because he sat there and watched all the humans shoot.
Because the guns killed some of the others ones if they got, like, you saw one get hit a certain way and it went down. So I'm guessing.
But I think it got back up. I mean, there's a lot going on. But
the body transformed into the mutant look. Not the mutant look, the alien look, and just was laying there. So I think there is a way to kill them if you hit a specific spot. That's the only thing I can imagine.
Or just keep hitting it enough before they have a chance to regenerate and heal.
And so was like tearing this woman a new one. And, she just kind of walks through it and heals, which was pretty cool. But I like that scene. I did. I like the train scene.
How cool would it have been if Sansa Stark had the power of the Phoenix and was able to do what Jean Grey did? So, okay, how do you think Sophie Turner did in this movie, seeing as how the film was so focused on her?
She did good.
Yeah.
I had no problem with her acting. There were times I felt like you could kind of tell where they might have refilmed.
Yeah.
Just because, although very similar, you could tell there was like a shift in like...
the actor's tones.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought Sophie Turner, like, the more the film went on, the more into it she got.
I feel like Michael Fassbender, Magneto, did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really see any flaws or difference in who he was. I didn't see any character arc.
Well, the one thing that kind of bugs me about Magneto in this one is, in Apocalypse, he was one of the 4 horsemen. And he was reaching down into the earth and ripping cities out from their foundations.
They didn't have video of it. So
they knew it was him.
Yes, but in the video clips or the news clips afterwards,
Further stunned to learn that fugitive Eric Lenchard aided in defeating this powerful and unknown.
It talked about how Magneto was one of the ones to help take down Apocalypse.
I know, but I gotta think that the human reaction. I mean, the fact that...
I think that's why they let him have his own island where mutants could go in a safe haven and let him stay there. So I thought Michael Fassbender did a great job. No really character arc, no character arc, but there wasn't really anything new to his character.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he became anybody new or anything along those lines.
No, I mean, it was just the brief moment of... I mean, first, he talks to Jean Grey about why he stopped killing people because, and it was a really good point, about vengeance. Mm-hmm. That no matter what he did, no matter who he killed, it never did anything to give him peace or make him feel better. It was never enough. So he quit. And I was like, wow, that was smart. That was intelligent. That was good advice to Jean. But then as soon as he found out that she killed Raven, it was back to the old vengeance. And
yes, and so it makes sense. There was no character arc for him. You saw him growing again, like you did in the Latin Apocalypse, where he had a family and then he went to vengeance again. It's like...
Oh yeah, and we never had Quicksilver say, "You're my dad," or anything like that. And Quicksilver's part in this was just way too small.
Yeah, I agree. He got knocked out early on by Jean Grey.
Very cool scene, though, to start a really cool Quicksilver thing, but then to see her power, she's suddenly moving fast enough to catch him. Yeah, she could catch him.
She's just like watching him and goes like this and makes him go flying off.
And I thought visually that looked really cool, but it would have been cooler to have that, that arc come full circle and have him talk to, Magneto and have a cool moment there, but...
Yeah, but that didn't happen. Okay, now here is something that we discussed on our way home. At the end of Apocalypse, she had the Phoenix power in her.
Is revealed.
And so that tells me that the cosmic power was already in her. Yet in this movie, they go up into space where they explain what that cosmic thing was.
Yeah, they talk about how it would look like a solar flare, but it's not.
Yeah, but it was the spark of life. It was the thing that sparks life in the universe, but at the same time can spark death and destroy, that entire alien race's world and planet.
And that's why this alien race is following it, because it destroyed their world.
And it came to her because it was attracted to her power.
Yes.
And then she gets possessed with it. But I think the thing that confuses me, maybe this is just I need to read the comics, but if you're like me and you haven't read the comics and you're trying to piece together the events of X-Men Apocalypse, you might be in the same boat going, wait a minute, what is the extra thing? Didn't she already have that cosmic power in her, and that's why Apocalypse said all is revealed?
I know, but maybe that's just... It was like it supercharged her. That's the only thing I can imagine. It supercharged her power, and because she was already so strong and powerful as it is, she was the only mutant or person that could contain it. Because at the end of the movie, the pale blonde girl, I don't even know if she had a name, she wanted the power. And so what happened is they started the transference halfway, 3/4 of the way through, and they stopped it because she was going to kill
all of Earth.
And,
but then she couldn't handle the power at the end of the movie.
I don't think she realized she couldn't handle the power. So then she goes to take the power, and Sophie Turner's character, Jean Grey, realizes that she can't take the power, so she makes her hold it longer. And then they realize if she gives it all to him, it'll destroy everything there. And then they go up into the sky, which I said is what they should have done from the beginning. And so then she gives her all the power and disintegrates, and to the Phoenix. You see the Phoenix, which was a cool shot. You know, you see it in the stars and whatnot. And then at the end of the movie, the weird part for me is then you see it flying around. I'm like, because she's dead.
She said that in the monologue. And she's not dead. She evolved. So yeah. Anyway.
That was just weird to me. I did not understand it. Maybe it was just weird.
The one thing, though, that was kind of interesting is I get what they were saying. So this cosmic power is the spark of life, and it's destroying planets. But it was attracted to Jean Grey probably because of the Phoenix. And that's what I'm putting together. So whatever cosmic power was already in her was attracting that cosmic power. And that cosmic power can be contained by the power that was already inside.
Or maybe that cosmic power is just the dark of the Phoenix. Like she has a Phoenix and that's the dark.
And maybe what we really needed is a Dark Phoenix Saga trilogy.
So we could fully understand it.
Which now we're not gonna get because of all these acquisitions, and now it's the end. Which is something else that kind of bugged me about this. The way this movie ends, you have Charles Xavier who goes into retirement because the guilt of having lost Raven.
Beast is in charge of the school now.
And the guilt of having buried Jean Grey's pain, and now this was the result of him burying her pain. And so he retires and moves to Paris, and Magneto's there.
Paris? Or it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was the Eiffel Tower in the background.
Oh, okay.
And so what kind of confuses me about that is, in Days of Future Past, which is the brand new timeline, the way the movie ends, they're all together.
In the school.
And Charles Xavier is the principal. He's the headmaster. And then, when you get into Logan, you have Charles Xavier with his brain spasms that killed pretty much everybody. See, the point is this is the end of this X-Men franchise. And I think it would make sense if it wasn't the end of the franchise.
Yeah, like if we could have more movies that would explain how they could get together.
Because I think there's a monstrous gap now. And what it is there needs to be another movie or two that kind of brings the X-Men as we have known them from the X-Men movies and brings Jean Grey back.
Back to Days of Future Past.
Yes, and then it builds us back to where Days of Future Past finally ended. Mm-hmm. But because this is the last movie, now there's this monstrous gap, which is why I would say, yes, this movie's worth checking out this weekend because it's entertaining.
Yeah.
But is it a good conclusion?
No.
No, because it leaves a huge gap with far more questions than answers. And I didn't like Charles that much in this movie.
No, but I think they were trying to make him look conceited and cocky at the beginning because he created the X-Men.
Yes.
He did this. And he had a direct line to the president, which I'm sorry was the bat phone.
It was the bat phone more than X on it.
And so there was just like little pieces like that. And so his cockiness, and then he tried to go into the field with them, and you kind of see him trying to get better, but there was just something that fell a little flat about his character.
Yeah.
I mean, he was Charles. It's just, I think it's because the movie wasn't completely centered around him like the others were.
Yeah.
He wasn't as strong as a character.
Here's what's weird to me. It had all the right beats. Charles was cocky and getting full of himself because now the world accepts mutants and that's his doing.
Yes.
Well, then he gets so cocky and arrogant that even when Jean Grey is doing all this bad stuff and he can't take any blame for what he did, like that shows how arrogant he got.
But he humbles himself.
That's what I'm saying, though. It had the right beats. It started with him being all really bad and cocky. It had him seeing the consequences of those actions, and it had his moment of repentance. So it had the right moments and the right beats, but there was something about it that never fully sold me.
Yeah, I agree.
All the right stuff was there. It just, I don't feel like it hit the way it was supposed to.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
So for us, we enjoyed it. That's why we both gave it a B-.
it's entertaining, so if you're looking for an action-packed Marvel superhero movie, it's worth checking out, and it's worth on the big screen. If you want to see this movie for all it's worth, see it on the big screen. Don't wait till the small
there was
screen.
some really cool special effects that looked really cool on
But
the
if
big
you're
screen.
looking for this to be the thing that closes out the franchise and brings things full circle,
Don't see
no,
it.
it's not that. In fact, it's gonna leave quite a gap.
Yeah.
Logan, you just gotta go back to Logan and be like, okay, we see how everything ends, and just fill it in with your own imagination. So, what did you think of this movie? Be sure to let us know in the comments. While you're there, hit that subscribe button to become a Durbanian and hit the bell by the subscribe button so you're notified for our next movie review, ranking video, theological analysis, or anything else we do here. I'm Durbin.
I'm Laura.
Thanks for checking out Durbania.